show you some shortcuts that will help you to be more efficient when you're working. Okay, so I request everybody to have the QGIS application open. You can also look at the dataset that we have shared with you. It has one PDF, okay, with a detailed step-by-step instruction. So I had asked you to do that, and you can redo the exercises, okay. So we are beginning very shortly. Make sure you are ready. Is there anybody who is not ready yet? Please raise your hand. professional surveys, by the way. Very, very detailed. Yeah, but you can't put a fencing pole no directly without all the neighbors in agreement. So you can't do that. That's not your job. It's a surveyor's job to actually do physical verification and compare the information and then mark the points. Then his job starts. If you're doing that before, you're actually putting yourself at risk. That's your safety protocol. That's okay. I'll have a discussion with you later. Okay, I believe we all are ready by now and we are good to start the session. So let me start by briefing you what we are going to do today. And I am pretty excited because I know today will be the first time many of you will be creating a professional map which can be called as a map that you can publish. Okay. So by the end of today's session, all that we did yesterday and today is going to combine to result in a map that you can share as a professional map. Okay. So today we have 3 modules in which we will cover different concepts, starting with understanding spatial and non-spatial data. I think we already know. Second is digitization, which is going to be one of the major modules. Digitization is basically extracting some information from already data which is already there with you, like for example topo sheet. Okay, we will do the exercise hands-on. Then we are going to see how we can correct or we can collect accurate data without, by reducing the error or at least minimizing the error. So we are going to look at some functionality which allows us to do that. Okay, and I'm also going to discuss what are the errors that can occur when you are creating data sets. Okay, and then Krishna is going to lead the session on styling, how you assign colors, how you assign styles to the layers. Okay, how you make that map meaningful. Okay, it's not some painting. How you make that map meaningful to the reader. Okay, who will be actually using that map. So that we'll cover in styling. And last, we will then put together the data and prepare a professional map. That's the end goal. Okay, so let's start. So we are starting with our first module, which is digitizing a raster map. Okay, so a little bit of theoretical background. So as I mentioned, we are going to create data, right? So we are this topic is called as feature extraction as well, or we are saying basically digitization. What it means is we are having a raster. It can be a Google satellite imagery. It can be the topo sheet that use georeference, or the outline development plan that use georeference. Now you want to say take out only the roads from there, right, and make a road network map. So you are taking the road out, so feature extraction. You are assigning the names of those roads. Some roads which you have identified from Google you are adding, which are not there in the outline development plan you are adding. So this is all kinds of data creation, right? So that is what we are going to do today. Okay. So we will create point data set, line data set and polygon data set. Now all these are vectors, right? So as I mentioned to you, whenever you collect vector data, there are two aspects. One is the geometry and other is, I'm waiting for the answer. Geometry and attributes, right? Geometry and attributes. So if you are collecting any data, you need to have this data model first, okay? So when we digitize points, there are some, we'll explore the topo sheet. There are like hospitals marked on it. So we will try to extract the locations of all the hospitals from there, okay? So I'll cover that part later. So you understand these two things, right? So for hospitals, we will use points, okay? For the roads, we will use lines. And then there are some reservoirs, okay? Like dam reservoirs in this topo sheet that we are going to use. We will use polygons for them, okay? So when we are going to digitize, we'll create the data model. What are the attributes, okay? Geometry we know, okay? So these two parts you have understood, right? And then there is also attribute type. If it is a name, its attribute type is text format, okay? If it's a bed capacity of the hospital, for example, then it will be a number or integer, okay? If you are giving a rating to the hospital, then like you have ratings, right? I don't know if hospitals also have ratings, but if you go for a movie, you have a rating, right? 4.5, like, so that's a decimal, okay? So you have to also bear in mind the attribute data type, okay? So this will cover when we are doing the exercise actually. Next. So before we actually do the exercise, I want to talk about digitizing errors, okay? Now, when you are doing feature extraction, knowingly, unknowingly, or by being ignorant, we can introduce errors, okay? A common, and I'm sure many of you might end up doing this, is not connecting the roads. Can the road be not connecting? Like for example, you have a road here, right? And the other road is like this. Can the road be like this? No, right? Roads are always connected. So we have to use certain tools which ensures that the road is connected. This relationship must be kept, okay? If you are collecting data, say of plots, okay? Now I am having my plot boundary and she is my neighbor, she is having her plot boundary, right? Can I show on the GIS map a plot like this and the next plot like this? Right? We are both going to be fighting them, right? So this is an error of overlap. So when we are doing the digitization, we must use the tools and functionality so that our data is correctly captured. Only when our data is correctly captured and digitized can we use that data for analysis, okay? Now for example, I'll just tell you if this point was A, B and C, right? And you know in GIS you can find shortest distance or connectivity, right? If you want to go from point A to B, you might go, right? But what if I didn't digitize this part? You will not reach B here. You can't do that analysis, right? Because the application will think that this is isolated road, right? So for this reason, we must capture the data properly. So these are some of the common things, okay? Any questions here? Okay. So now we'll go to the next slide. There is, okay. So now we are going into our QGIS application starting from a blank slate. So before we do anything, I want to introduce you today's data set, which is a georeference map of Pune, okay? So can you show the base map? Yeah, open. You just drag and drop on this time. So QGIS has many shortcuts, okay? So we'll show you some of those shortcuts as we do. You can simply drag and drop a file in QGIS canvas and it will directly understand what it is. No need to say add layer, raster layer, it understands what it is, right? So now we have got the map of Pune, okay? This is an educational resource map that was created by one institute. So we are using this data. So I want you to zoom in, Sia, can you zoom in? So you will notice it has many features, highways are shown, internal roads are shown, then some icons are given, like you can see hospital icons are given, right? Bus stops are given, right? So these are various data set present, okay? So now for the first part where we will be digitizing the hospitals, okay? Say I want to study where the hospitals are located, so that tomorrow I know where which place has hospitals and which place is not served by hospitals, okay? Where I want to reduce the ambulance time to for the patients to travel, so I need to understand how the hospitals are distributed in the city, okay? So let's start digitizing the hospitals. So before we start actually doing the work, what we must do? Data model, okay? So we will use points for the hospital, okay, to represent the hospital location, and we must decide the attribute. So let us say one of the attribute will be the name, okay, name of the hospital, and second attribute maybe what we can take is intake capacity, okay, how many bed or bed capacity. So bed capacity will be a number, okay. So just for the demonstration sake, let us start with this exercise, okay. So first Sia will demonstrate, you don't have to do the work, okay. She will demonstrate how a layer is created and you capture data. Once she is done, then we will do it together, okay. Cool. Okay, Sia, let's go ahead. So she goes to layer, create layer, new geopackage layer, okay. So there is a dialog box that opens where she specifies the name of this file or a geopackage that she is creating. So hospitals, okay. Now she is defining the geometry type. So in this case, point. Now the CRS, we are okay with 4326, which is a global coordinate reference system. Now here what she is doing, she is adding the data model. So as I mentioned, we are collecting attributes name, and we are also collecting the attribute bed capacity. So here she is putting name of the attribute, which is name, okay. Name of the attribute is name in this case, okay. Type of the attribute is text. You can give a length, okay. So in this case we are putting 100 characters, and then you click add to field list. So you click that. Once you do this, this attribute becomes available for you to add when you are actually capturing the data, okay. Now we also want to capture bed capacity. One second, just leave small letters with underscore. It's a good practice to write the names of attributes in small letters without any spaces, so that tomorrow if you are working with database and all, there will be no reading problems, okay. So here the bed capacity, okay, bed underscore capacity, type is integer, and you do add to field list, okay. So we have entered two attributes, okay. Now this will become available when we start the actual digitization process. So now you say okay, and you will notice a layer is added named hospitals. Now this layer is the active layer, okay, means it is selected. Now you can't edit it directly. To put it in the editing mode, there is a function called as editing, okay, toggle edit. So you can select this, and there's a pencil icon here, okay. You can click the pencil icon, or just wait. So only when you click the pencil icon, you have some tools getting activated. So I'll just deactivate it. So these tools are not available to you now, right? Only when you have editing mode on, now you click it, these tools become available to you. So these tools allow you to add the point. So now we gone in the editing mode, okay. There are various tools here so that you can add a point, you can delete a point, move a point. There are separate tools, okay. So here after you put toggle edit mode, this layer icon will change here to pencil, okay. Means now you can click anywhere on the map where you want to add a point, and you will enter the attribute information. So you can see one hospital over here, right? So now she will go there. First she will activate add point. Okay. She was in toggle edit mode. She activated add point. Now she will click on the map. The cursor has changed. Click. So the moment you click, a pop-up will come. If this pop-up is not coming by default, don't worry. There is a small setting that you have to do. Enable pop-up by default. Okay. If you are not getting it, don't worry. We will ensure that it is happening. And here you can see now the attribute that we had added just now are available. So first is the name and second is the bed capacity. Okay. So you enter the values. Okay. So we are adding a dummy value here, and name is directly taken from the topo sheet. Okay. And you click OK. There we have added the first point. Can you put off the map? Map, put it on. So we have added the first point, right? Put on the map and mark two more hospitals. So you zoom out, find the remaining hospitals and you mark. Yeah. Remember, your layer needs to be selected, okay? Only that layer is available for editing. So this is how you add points or you collect points from a data set. Okay. Now you might not find all the hospitals over here. You might have done an exercise like what we did in the morning. You can get all the points here and then create a data set. Okay. So now we will do this together. Okay. So let's do it together now. Yeah. So we first add the topo sheet. This time I want you to just minimize your QGIS window, drag and drop the topo sheet. So topo sheet you will find in the folder on exercise 6. There is topo sheet underscore modified. Just drag it and drop in QGIS. Or you can go by the technique you learned yesterday. Layer, add raster layer, like that. Okay, no, it's not here, right? So you can right click over here, zoom to layer. Okay guys, I want to show you one more trick. Some of you are adding the layer in QGIS and wondering where it is, right? You are zoomed in on Goa, okay? So I see some of you are doing like this. So you have the Google satellite and you are zooming in on Goa. You don't know where the Pune map is located, right? There is another simple trick here. You have the layer in your layers panel, right? You can just right click on it and there is an option called zoom to layers. It will directly take you to the extent of that layer which you just added. Okay? So you can try the zoom to layer. Right click, zoom to layer. No. I'll tell you which one. I'll tell you that one. So what I want you to do now is just explore this map first. What is there? Just check on this map what is there in this map. Can you see hospitals? Can you see bus stops? Can you see road? Zoom into a place where you can see hospitals and hold. Okay, so on your map, zoom to a place where you can see a hospital icon. Okay, ready? Okay, now look, now we'll start adding a layer or creating a layer. So go to the layers panel, create layer, new geo package layer. So right now we are creating a geo package layer. Okay. So click on new geo package layer, specify the name and location by clicking on the 3 bars. Okay. Small. Okay. Geometry type. Table name is hospitals. It's okay, no problem. Geometry is point. Don't, yeah. Now add the attribute. So this name specifies the name of the attribute. So first attribute is named only as name. So you put name. Type is text. Okay. Character length you can put 100. Basically length of characters. Okay. And click on add to field list. So you should see the attribute added over here. Next, add another attribute to capture, that is bed capacity. And this time specify the type as integer and hit add to field list. So all of you must have this, then we can go to the next step. Yeah, bed capacity add to field list. Bed capacity will be integer. It's a number, right? Integer. Yeah. Not a problem. Yeah, click that. And add to field list. First one you also not added name. Name is text. Yeah, you can put. Yes. Whatever data you want to capture, you can access. So everybody is here. You should see the attribute added over here. Okay. Anybody who has not reached here, please raise your hand so that our volunteers can come. So those of you who have already reached here, click OK. Okay, click OK. Yeah. Override again. Okay. So now you must be seeing the layer added over here as hospitals. Okay. So while this is selected in the layers panel, you can click on this pencil icon on top, which is toggle editing. There is also another shortcut to this. Simply right click on the layer. Right click on the layer and then again you have the same option, toggle editing. Click. So you should have this layer with the pencil icon now. Okay. So now with the layer in toggle edit mode, okay, now you can enable the add point tool. Okay, so add point tool is located here in the digitizing toolbar. Click on it. The cursor will change now. Identify the point where the hospital is located and click on it. And add the attribute. So the name you can directly add from the name mentioned, and bed capacity you can just add some dummy value. Add at least 3 to 5 hospitals. So everyone should mark at least 3 to 5 beds. Sorry, 3 to 5 hospitals. Hmm? So what you have done? You have put the type as text or name. Attribute type has to be text. If you put decimal or something else, then that is what is coming. You put a number, so you have to delete this then. So you can delete it. So I have deleted it. Adding another one. So add bed capacity. Underscore capacity. Oh no, bed capacity is the name you have to add name. Okay. And type you choose as text. Character length you can put 100. Then length of characters, how many characters you can put. Now it should be available. Okay, add at least 5 points. Add at least 5 points. See, for the attribute names, you don't have to actually use what I tell you exactly. Basically, what we are trying to capture here, see, don't follow per se, understand the logic. The logic is you want to capture the name of the hospital. Whether you write it as NAME or NME, doesn't matter. As long as you know that that attribute refers to the name of the hospital. Are you getting? If you are writing bed capacity, you don't have to write BD underscore capacity. BD underscore capacity, if you know it means bed capacity, that will also do. So please don't follow blindly. Understand the logic. Okay? So don't be too rigid about what I'm conveying to you. Be willing to explore. So everybody should mark at least 5 points. Okay? Only remember, for the name attribute, the attribute type should be specified as text. For the bed capacity, attribute type should be specified as integer. You mark 5 points. Anybody who has not marked at least 5 points, raise your hands. Okay, quickly. I am waiting, okay, quickly. Okay, so I believe everybody has marked at least one hospital. Is there anybody who has not marked even one hospital? Okay, so now stop. Now pay attention. Okay, everybody stop looking at your screen and pay attention. So now that you have marked the data, okay, you have to perform this very important step. If you forget, there is a very good chance that all your effort might go waste. Okay, imagine you mark 1,000 hospitals painstakingly, looking at the map, zooming in, and then you forget to save it. Okay, so first and foremost, once you have added some significant amount of data, you must save that data from time to time. Current can go, your laptop can crash, anything can happen, but let your data not get lost. So from time to time, there is a button here called Save Layer Edits. You must click that button. Go ahead and click it. Go ahead and click this button. While your layer is selected, click on Save Layer Edits. Okay. Now you perform another step so that you mistakenly don't edit a layer which you didn't intend to. Okay. So for that, we need to toggle off the editing mode. Okay, so to toggle off the editing mode, click on the pencil icon again. Now this is another tip that I'm sharing with you. When you work in GIS, you may have multiple point layers. Okay, and you perform edits to whichever layer is selected. So by chance, if this layer is selected and you didn't intend to edit it, you might add data to a layer without intention, and then you are lost. Where did it go? And you have to find it. So it's a best practice. Save your edits, come out of the toggle editing mode. Okay. Now you want to check the data that you have added. What I would say is just zoom out and simply switch off the base map from the layers panel, and you will see the points that you have added. So we have added these 5 points. Go ahead and do it. Just zoom out a little, switch off the base map, and you should see the points, their distribution in space. Right? Everybody is with me? No? Okay. We have doctors here, GIS doctors, please. So now I want to show you something. So you are seeing the distribution of points in space, but we added some data, right? Attribute data. So how do we check the attribute data? You can simply right click on that layer and say open attribute table. Okay, click on open attribute table, and there you see your attribute table. I like to see my attribute table like this. Just show me. So this attribute table is kind of like very flexible, right? The way I like to work with it is I just drag it and put it down here. Or wait, there is a button called here as dock attribute table. 1 second. Yeah, there is a button called dock attribute table. It just puts it nicely down at the bottom of QGIS. Okay, so now I can see in the map also, and I can see in the attribute table as well. Okay, so here you will see the data that you had captured. Everybody can see? Right click, open attribute table. Now it has happened that Sia at the time of adding the bed capacity, instead of 1 she put 2. She made a mistake. Now she wants to edit it, right? How can we do that? So you click, double click here at 2020. Just click here. Yeah, click here. So she added 2 instead of adding 1, right? Now we can't edit it over here directly. Why? Because it's not in edit mode. Okay. So to change this number, or we want to change or delete something, we have to go to toggle edit mode. Okay, so now you go toggle edit. Now your edit mode is activated. You can change the number. Now make it 10, right, and click enter. Now if you wait, now what she will do is, the pay attention, she's changed the number, right? Now she will go exit toggle edit mode and say discard. What happened? Back to 20. Why? Because we didn't do save layer edits. Okay, so put this as a thumb rule. Whenever you capture data, edit anything, save layer edits first and then come out of toggle editing. As a caution, there's always some pop-up, but believe me, even after doing this for so long, sometimes mistakenly I have done discard, okay, and ended up losing the data. Okay, so always make it a thumb rule, save your layer edits from time to time and then go out of toggle editing. Don't do toggle editing and then do save layer edits, because sometimes you can just slip. Okay, so now again we'll go into toggle editing mode, change the number to 10, right? Now enter. Save layer edits is also available here in the attribute table. So save layer edits, go out of toggle editing mode. So you see it has retained. Okay, so this is how you can modify the attribute data. Okay, now there are few functions which I want to show you now. Okay, suppose one point only was added wrong. Okay, then again as a logic you have to go into toggle edit mode. So go to toggle edit mode. You can select these points using the select tool. Okay, so there is a select tool. Okay, so it can be placed anywhere on your screen. So for her it is over here. Okay, and it allows many ways to select a point. So you select, enable the tool, click on a point. Okay, it will turn to yellow. It will turn to yellow, or it might turn to different color if you have configured it. And you can see that point is highlighted, and also it is highlighted here in the attribute table. And some other tools get enabled. So there is a tool here, delete. It will also be here in the digitization toolbar. Click delete. Right? Say delete one feature. Again, remember, whenever you make changes, first thing what you do, save layer edits. So save layer edits, come out of toggle editing mode, and the changes will reflect. Okay, so is this clear? Okay, so now you do it. Change the attribute value. Okay, change the attribute value of the bed capacity, and also try to delete one point. So Sia will show you now how to do it. Yeah, close this, open attribute table. Yeah, wait, I'll check. One second, sorry. F6, F6. No. I didn't press function. Okay. So you can open the attribute table by right clicking and open attribute table. Okay. If you want to dock it down on your screen, there is an option there, dock table. Go to toggle edit mode and edit some attribute. Always remember toggle edit mode After you have done editing, save layer edits and then go to undo toggle edit mode. Next, what you can do is switch on the toggle editing mode, use the select tool and delete a point. Switch to toggle edit mode, you enable select tool and delete a point. After you have done all the changes, click save layer edits. So you will see that there are many more tools, okay, in the digitizing toolbar. We can't explore all of them, but if you know the logic, you will surely find what is the use case of each tool there, okay. So there's undo tool which you normally have in other places, okay. Also, if you want to come out of the select tool, there is another tool called as a pen tool. This is a hand icon. You can select that and then you can pen the map with drag, click and drag, okay. Okay, so if you have any queries, you please resolve them. We'll go into digitizing the lines now. Okay, so now we will go into digitizing the road network. Okay, so we'll be more quicker this time, right? So I will show you how to create a new layer as a road, which is a line layer. Okay, so please stop looking at your screen and pay attention now. Okay, pay attention now. So Sia will now demonstrate how we can capture line data. Okay. So you go to layer, create layer, new geo package layer. You specify the name of the layer, okay, and the location where you want to save it. Save. Geometry type will be line string. This time I don't want to add any attributes, so you already know what the attributes are. So now we'll click OK. A new layer is added, right? Now toggle the base map. So now we can see some major highways over there, right? So you know, to start adding data, you first switch the road layer first. So now first you go untoggle this. So to start editing the roads, select the road, click on the toggle editing mode, okay, and you see the highway here, the dark red one, okay. So click on the pencil icon, click on add line feature and start adding the line. So left click to add the points where you are marking the line, okay, and right click to end. Now another thing that I want to tell you here is, if the road has a bend, right? If you mark one point here, the road that you draw will not be a bend, it will be a straight line, right? So whenever you have a bend, try to add more points, okay? So we have digitized the road, and when you want to end, right click, okay? Okay, so we have not set any attributes. Okay, now can you switch off the topo sheet? Yeah, save layer edits, come out of toggle edit mode, and you can see the road, right? So let us digitize another road. Next to that one. So now she will digitize another road. Okay? Yeah. Now start digitizing from here down. So when to toggle edit mode, add a line feature, mark, 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 mark. Okay, go little down. Okay, done, finish. Okay, can you assign a different color and make it thicker? One, make it two. Yeah, give a different color. Black. Okay, so yeah, what you see here is the road that she has just drawn, right? So let me show you what is wrong with this now. Okay, remove the topo sheet, right? So looks like a well drawn road, right? Now when you zoom in, what happened? Right? So there was an error. The error is that it's cutting short of the junction, right? But road can't be like this. So to enable the correct collection of this data, there is a tool called snapping. What snapping does, it allows us to connect to the nearest node. So wherever there is junction, while digitizing, you must ensure that you put a point there. Okay? So later when you connect the next node, it can just link with that. Okay? So let us go back to the map. So we'll delete that road, new road which you don't. Yeah, delete it. Select toolbar. Okay. So this time what we are doing is, you put on the topo sheet now. Okay. This time what we are doing is, we are enabling something called a snapping tool. So enable it by clicking here, and then we can enable the snapping distance. So let's make it 20, this distance value 20. Okay, now let's try to add a road. Okay, so then go there, add line feature, click one point here. Wait, click one point here first. Up. Okay, so now what happens is, when you come within 20 pixels of this point, you will see a small square appearing. That means it is snapping is enabled, and if you click now, it will directly merge with this. Okay, so now you click, now go back, go down and finish. Save layer edits, come out of toggle, remove the topo sheet. Now you zoom in. Now you will zoom in forever and the connection will never break. Okay, so this is the correct use of snapping. So now go ahead and add a road feature. Create a road layer and start adding. So to add a road, now you do it, go to layer, create a layer and new GeoPackage layer. Yeah. Assign the name and location. Assign the geometry type as line string, and when you are done, you have to click OK. Once you click OK, you will see a layer called as road being added to your layers panel. So you can follow the same procedure. Switch to toggle editing mode, enable add line feature, and start digitizing your first road. Here we have not asked to set any attribute. If you want, you can set. Okay, it's not necessary because you already know how to add the attribute. So okay, yeah, okay, okay. So one, I believe most of you have added one line, right? So when you're adding the next road which is connecting, you need to enable the snapping options. So you have to find this toolbar which is called as the snapping toolbar. Okay? It will have this icon like a magnet. If it is not there, you can enable the toolbar by right clicking and then enable the snapping toolbar and snapping toolbar. Not snapping option, toolbar. So if you have this icon, click on it, you can set the snapping distance over here. We have set it to 20. Okay? And once you have set that, you can start digitizing the next road.
So you might face this issue that you are drawing but you are still not seeing. That is because the drawing itself is indicated in a red line, and if you try to draw on top of red, then probably you will not see it. So maybe you can try to do this line drawing on maybe something like this, the blue one, so that you can actually see the line. It's working. I mean, obviously that's not a road, but just for you to confirm that okay, that the drawing is working. Yeah, you can change the styling once your editing is done. So you can change the styling, which will be our topic for the next thing. But during the drawing, it might be a little bit difficult. One of the other way to do that is you can just change the opacity of your topo sheet. If you bring that down, you can still see your line that you are drawing easily. So if you have drawn, let's say, a line, it was a very interesting use case that maybe let's say you have drawn the line and now you want to snap in between the line. So that is also something that you can do. So just left to this 20 pixel and right to this magnet button, there is this small thing next to that. Yeah, you can just click on the vertex, click on that and change it to, no, the previous one, sorry. Yeah. This should be your active layer so that it will only work with active layer. And then you can go over here and you can search for the segment. So once you do the segment, you will be also able to snap your line with the in between. So if I want to do from here to here for some, or maybe then I decide to draw a line from here, but I don't have a point here. But that will still work. You can start from here and you can snap anywhere that you want on the line segment.
Participants, you can explore all these tools and options, but you need to understand what is the logic behind snapping. Okay, you can snap to a vertex, you can snap to a segment, you can snap to a line as well. Okay. So some of you are not having the snapping toolbar, right? So if you don't see the snapping toolbar, just go on the top, right click and see that it is enabled. So here the snapping toolbar needs to be enabled. Only when this is enabled, you will see it right in front, okay? So just ensure that it is enabled. Okay, participants, now there is one more issue that you all are facing. I want to show you how to solve that. So you have these 2 points, okay? You have already digitized and you want to, solve this without having to add another line or delete the line, right? So there is another tool over here. After you do toggle edit, there is a tool here called as vertex tool, okay? So when you select the vertex tool, what happens is when you hover on any line, it identifies all the vertices for you. So you can simply select one vertex, ensure that the snapping tool is enabled, go to any point, okay, and click. Now it will correct by itself. So no need to delete and add again. So there are many tools available for you to work efficiently, okay? As long as you know you need to do the snapping properly, you will find all that, those tools, okay? So I think you have understood the concept of snapping and why it is important, right? So we will now move to the next part where we digitize a polygon, okay? Students, we have a very limited time, okay, and we are trying to give you maximum so that you can have a good foundation to start and exploring. There are many tools there, so now I'm just pushing it a little and I'm moving to the next part where we digitize the polygon. So now you have an idea of how to create the data set, right? Now in the same way you can create a new layer to mark the reservoirs, okay, the dams which are present on this map. So go ahead and create a new geopackage layer. This time I want you to do directly by yourself, okay? Though Sia will be demonstrating, but I believe by now you should be able to do it by yourself, okay? So she is going to demonstrate to you. Anyway, so create layer, new geopackage layer, assign a name and location. So geometry will be polygon and then you click OK, no attributes. Okay. So now you can digitize the reservoirs. So the blue ones are the reservoirs, okay. The ponds in your village can be digitized this way. So you go to toggle edit, add polygon and start digitizing. So you have to carefully digitize, just digitize quickly. So you have to carefully digitize this marking all the edges, okay. So polygon is a geometry where the starting and the ending point is the same, okay. So once you finish, right click and OK, and the polygon will be saved, okay. So this is how you can add or create data sets from existing maps, okay. So now we will move to the next module, which is styling this data, okay. So I would request Krishna to take the next module. Now don't worry, you don't have to digitize everything right now because we have already digitized everything and given to you. So you will be using this exact same map completely digitized and provided to you. And now you're going to style these layers, okay. So I'm giving over to Krishna and he will show you how to add beautiful colors and make the map more meaningful, not just beautiful.
Alright, thank you. So we will start by understanding this styling in QGIS, and I think styling, so in mapping world there is a totally different, I would say, job profile which is known as cartographers, And you might have seen a lot of maps in the past, and you like think about it. You might have come across a map where you, by just looking at the map, you immediately got to know what this map is all about. If you have seen any military maps, they have a different way of styling things. Versus if you have seen, let's say, urban development map or maybe a village map or something like that, they have a different way of showing things. And this is known as symbology, and that's the job of a cartographer. So cartographer will understand that what message we want to convey via that map, and then he or she will style that map accordingly. So in our case, we will see how to do this styling in QGIS. QGIS is one of the most amazing tools where you can style your data in a different way. So if you have a polygon, you can color it. You can also apply some kind of styling like hatches, or you can also fill it completely with some symbols. When it comes to point, you can have circles representing points. You can have different icons representing points. When it comes to line, you can have colors. You can also have this style. Like if you have seen, whenever we represent trains, there is a specific pattern that we follow to represent the train routes. Or whenever we represent the boundaries, there is a specific pattern. So all these things we can do in QGIS. So go to your exercise 6 solutions and bring this geo package by simply dragging it, or either by going into vector source and bringing it onto the map. Now you will see that in this geo package, you will see there are multiple files, and this is one of the formats of GIS where a single file can contain multiple types of data sets. So again, if you have worked with shape files, if you work with GeoJSON, geo package, KML, every single format has its own pros and cons. So one of the biggest pros for geo package is that it can allow you to have multiple data sets in a single file. So that means you can share this geo package with anyone, and they will have access to all the polygons, point and line layers within this one file. Now we will simply click on add layers. And now we will add them on the map. Alright, now you can see that we have bunch of layers with us, and as this symbology over here, it defines that these layers are polygon, these are point, and these are lines. So you can see that this is a quick way for us to understand which is the polygon layer, which is the point layer, which is the line layer, and also which is the raster layer. Now you might be seeing totally different thing than what you in your computer than what you are looking at right now, because QGIS by default assigns the color randomly. But that's not a problem, because we all are going to make the same looking map. So now the first thing that we have to do as a cartographer is we have to plan our layers. So in an ideal case here you can see that we have bunch of points, bunch of line and bunch of polygons. So if we were to place them on top of one another, it will be only logical to have polygons at the bottom, and even in that polygons, whichever are the biggest polygons, they will go on the bottom, then the smaller polygon, then the smallest polygon, then the lines, and then on top of everything will be point. So first we will start by arranging this. So now as I can see my data, there are a lot of different types of land parcels, I would say. So there is agriculture, there are barren lands, and then there are lakes, open scrubs, open spaces, etc. So I am assuming that these data sets, let's say even all these polygons will not intersect with each other. Like agriculture land can never be a barren land. So that might be a different polygon, this will be a different polygon. So now we will simply start to bring all the points on the top, then all the lines below these points, and then automatically all the polygons which are remaining will be at the bottom. Alright, so just by doing this simple activity, now you can see that all of our points and all of our lines are on top of our polygons. And now it's time for us to start coloring these polygons. So the easiest way to do this is click on a layer, and then in your layers tab you will see this icon at the very left, which has a paint brush, kind of like an icon. If you click on it, it will open a panel of a layer styling. Now inside this layer styling, one of the good things about this is that whatever you will do in this layer styling will be immediately reflected on the map. So you don't even need to store it or save it in order to see. You can just simply change it and you will immediately see the difference. So first, let's start with the polygon. Let's go into the polygon first. So the first thing that we will do is we will color the agriculture lands. Since it is agriculture, it makes sense to have kind of like a greenish color set. Now before styling, I would give little bit idea about what all different things that you can do in a styling. So if you click on this single symbol on the top here, yeah, now you can see different ways of styling. So far I was only talking about that you can color, you can hatch, you can create the marker, but it's not just that. You can also decide all of these things based on any attribute. So let's say if you have a single shape file, for example, in the morning we did an exercise where we were collecting different tree information, and one of the things that we mentioned is that whether that tree is healthy or not. So there is an attribute which says that tree health and which is either true or false. So we can also style based on that, like whether you want to have certain color for true, certain color for false. Then the second thing would be so category I have discussed, graduated. So let's say now you have, instead of true or false, you have let's say a marking system. So tree health can go from 0 to 10, okay, and then based on what you feel you can give it either 4 or 7 or something like that. So in that case you can define that I want my coloring to go from 0 to 10, where 0 is red and green is 10, and then gradually change this color. So that means QGIS will automatically figure out if 0 is red and if green is 10, what should I color to the number 4 or to the number 7. So this thing QGIS can do it for you. Then there are rule based. Rule based means you can combine all of these things together. So you can have multiple rules which are working in the same way. So maybe you can say that if the tree is mango and the tree is healthy, then I want to have this color. If the tree is mango and it is not healthy, then I want to have something else, like that. Then you have merged feature, inverted polygons, and 2.5D. 2.5D is an amazing thing where if you have attributes which can be used for extrusion. So let's say you have a building footprint layers, and there is one attribute known as height. So you can use that attribute to actually create a 2.5D kind of a field. So for us today, we will be sticking with single symbol, but I would recommend you guys to check it out more in your own exercise. Now coming back to the single symbol, in single symbol you will see that the simple field option is there. You can click on more simple fields and you can keep on adding more simple fields. Now even we can change simple field to something else. For example, you can have centroid field, you can have gradient field. Can you click on gradient? Yeah. So you see now this becomes like a gradient. So if you have played with Microsoft PowerPoint in the past, you might know that there was this word art kind of thing which used to have this kind of look. So you can have that. Here obviously then you can select the colors that you are interested in. Can you click on gradient field once? Yeah, then there is a line pattern. Yeah. So line patterns will allow you to fill your area with the line patterns, and this means you can choose the line color, you can choose the angle of your line, and you can also choose the density of the lines. All these things you can do. But now you can see that when we added a line pattern, the entire fill changed. So it is no longer just a single symbol, but it's a multiple things. So like the line, whether you want a simple line, what is the rotation, what is the spacing, etc. Yeah, click on this again. Then you have a random marker field. Yeah. So random marker field will allow us to add randomly markers anywhere in your entire polygon. And finally, click on this. The last thing that we will see is the simple fill, which is what we have. Alright, simple fill, straight up you just select the color and then you can define the opacity and all, and then you'll be able to see this. So let's now try to change this color to something like a green, light green family. Perfect. Here my fill is solid. If I want to have like a cross or vertical, I can also do that, but we will not do that. We will keep it as a solid fill only. And while defining polygon style, you have two things that you can do. One is the inside of the polygon and one is the boundary of the polygon. So you can also define the styling for the boundary of the polygon. So in our case, the stroke color is black and the stroke width is 0.26. If you just change it to, let's say, 2.6 for example, or maybe 3 or something like that. Yeah, now you can see that this is quite thick line that we have. And again, stroke color you can change whatever you want. Can you make this? Yeah, perfect. So now you can see that we have a light green covering the dark green. So I'm sorry, now we have a light green as a fill and the dark green as our border. So this is how you can style the polygons. Just like that, then you will be able to style all the polygons that are there. Now it's time for you guys to do the exercise. So we'll do polygon first, then we will do line, and then we will do the point. So yeah, you have like 5 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. Try to create styling for at least 2-3 different polygons and try to explore different things. Make one with the fill, one with the hatch, one with the marker. Let's see who creates the most unique and interesting map with these polygons. So yeah, again, if you want to load the data, it is in exercise 6 solution, and then there is a project map preparation geo package. Sorry. Yeah, so now just create new project, go to add vector layer, and then click on these 3 dots and bring your geo package, which is exercise 6 solutions folder. Yeah, please. Yeah, once your geo package is there, make sure that first you arrange the layers correctly. Otherwise, even though you will apply the style, but if that layer is beneath some another layer, you might not see your data. So first thing that you have to do is add all the layers on the map, and then you have to arrange all the layers so that all the polygons are at the bottom, then line, and at very top there should be point layer. So points will be on the top, then lines, and finally you will have polygons at the very bottom.
So first point, then line, and then first.
If you have arranged the data, you can then start with the styling of the data. So pick up any particular thing that you want. So if you want to do agriculture, go to the agriculture and open your style bar by clicking on the leftmost icon in your layers panel. Yeah. You see now this one, first of all you can see which polygon is this. So you click on this, click here. Oh, sorry. This is your back. Yeah. So this is open spaces. Now you can see that okay, it is open space. So okay, I want to have maybe something like this. Yeah. So try to color at least 2 to 3 different layers of polygon. Try some with simple fill, some with gradients, some with hatches. You can create. Color all polygons that you have. So those who are confused, you can look at the screen. We are adding different kinds of layers, the styles to these different kinds of layers. And if you see, there are also some default styles. So if you are lazy, you can just select default styles as well. There are a lot of default styles available which are also very innovative. Alright, so everyone has at least 2 polygon layers styled. Should we move ahead? Okay, so the next thing that we will do is lines. Lines again have similar kind of logic. Single symbol, if you click on it, you will see the same kind of thing on the, like single symbol. Yeah, same kind of thing you can do based on attribute, you can do based on graduated, and you can also add multiple rules. So same thing. Let's go with single symbol. And in line, now you can select different types of lines. So click on that. So here you can have markers as your line, or you can have a simple line as well. So we will do simple line. And we are working with the highway at the moment. So click on that. Yeah, select, let's say, the black color. Okay. Increase the stroke width to, yeah, perfect. All right. Now you might have seen that in a lot of maps, roads generally are not represented by a single line. So you might have seen that there will be a road line which will be, let's say, of a black color, and then on the either side of the road you will see this gray color, kind of like a so the gray color is border. All right. So we will try to do the same thing over here. So we will have this black line represent our main road, and then we will have borders on the either side. Now in order for us to do that, we will just think in a direction that if we give this line, and if we add to the same line, if we add one more style, and if we make that style as a 4 pixel and this style as a 2 pixel, that means on either side of the black line you will have 1 pixel remaining. So we'll do that. Okay, so make the stroke width as 2. Okay, yeah, then go to the simple line one more time. Here click on plus. So now we have added one more simple line. Okay, now first thing we will do is change the color. Make it gray. Yeah, and make the stroke width as 4. Now you can see that we have a line which is on top of the black line, but we wanted this gray line to be at the bottom. So to do that, you can simply click over here, which means you can also set the hierarchy for this. So yeah, there you go. And now you have on a single line layer, you have 2 styles applied, and that means that it doesn't have to stop at 2. So even if you have multiple even if you have a style which requires multiple like these kinds of features to be added on top of each other, you can do that. So imagine, like, let's say if you maybe want to add one more small line which represents the center of this road, you can also do that. So let's try to do that. Bring one more, yeah, and we will make that as a yellow color. So make it as a yellow color. Okay, but generally this will not be a straight line. This will be like a line, then a space, then again a line, then a space. Now to do that, we will go to the stroke style. So here we want a dash line. So we will select the dash line, and now you can see that you have a dash line available over here. So this is also possible. Even in dash, you can define your own custom pattern. So you might say that I want a 5 pixel line, then a 2 pixel gap, then 2 pixel line, then 2 pixel gap, and 5 pixel line. So that way you can create your own pattern the way you want. So again, now it's time for you guys to try it out. So try to make interesting line segment for highway, and this is for a stream. So stream would be also interesting. You know, you have maybe a light blue color representing the borders and a dark blue color representing the inside, or maybe this dark blue color can have some kind of hatch pattern which will represent the water correctly. So we have 3 layers. At least try to style one line layer correctly. So if you want to add a pattern to your polygon, you can just simply go to the simple fill, click on that and go to your line. The SVG fill is also fine if you want to add icons in your entire fill, or there is also point pattern. Yeah. So here you can select the marker that you are interested in and you can fill that out. So you can go over here to SVG marker. Yeah. And you can select the marker. So maybe select, let's say, a tree or something. You see this tree icon at the bottom, maybe this one. Maybe you can search for the tree directly. Yeah, just select the tree. And now you can see that we have these tree icons available. We can obviously make them a bit bigger. So make the height and width as 5. Yeah. So there you go. So you can also fill out your entire polygon with the markers, and that is also one of the ways for the representation. So as you can see that there are so many ways of representing the data as well available in QGIS. So if you guys are done with polygon and line, finally we will wrap up our styling session by styling the markers, that means the points. Okay. Let's select hospital as a point. And again, you same kind of thing. You have graduated, you have category based, and you have a simple marker. Then in the point, you also have different things like heat map. So again, we will not go to the heat map. We will stick with single symbol. So single symbol is click on single marker and the simple marker. So here you can select that you can either have a simple marker which is made up of a circle. So you have some fill in between, and then you can also control the border of the circle. And second thing is the marker that we just saw in our polygon thing as well. So you can simply click on simple marker, and bottom you will see the library that QGIS has for the markers. Most of the time this library is enough, but if you are working on certain like special project, let's say if you're working with like defense and all, they have their own marker list, so you can just load that. And in this case, since we're dealing with hospital, we can try to find out a marker for hospital. Can you check that? Yeah. So you see this cross fill. So just click on that. So now you can see that our cross fills are filled in the place of our hospitals. We can obviously also control the color. So you can select and make it maybe, let's say, yellow, just so that we can see them distinctly. Yeah. So there you go. So you have now the symbols. So instead of presenting your point data is just simply point, you can have these different kinds of symbols. If you have PNG or certain kind of your custom made symbol, you can also load that and have it. So again, I would like you guys to explore the point, line and polygon. And finally, we will wrap up this by adding the labels. So labels are equally important because let's say you have this data, but now you also want to show the label of that hospital. Now we will see how to add labels. So just like in our layer styling, we were only dealing with the first icon at the moment. Second icon is labels. You can click on label, then click on the labels, and here again you can either have a single label or you can do the rule based labeling as well. So we'll do a single label. And for the label, you can also select which is the column from which the data has to be used. So since in our case we only have FID and name as a column, so we use name. So click on the name. And then for the labels, you have again different types of styling. You can select the background of your label. You can select the font of the label. You can also select what kind of color of that label should be, etc., etc. So for now we will only this just for me to show you that adding label is also possible. I would request you to explore this thing as well. So let's take like 5 minutes of the time and try to style markers, try to style line, and maybe add a polygon, add label for any one of the layers. Okay.
See, participants, there are millions of ways in which you can add styles and different colors, okay? This is best done when you explore the application at your end, okay? It's not possible for us to show all the million ways over here right now. So what we are doing here is now, we'll move to the next module, which is the last module, where we prepare a map. You are free to explore, all the instructions are given in detail to you in step-by-step guide, okay? So we'll move to the next module now. Okay, so this is the last module where we are actually going to prepare a map. So don't close the project, we'll use this project only what is there to prepare a map, okay? So I just want to brief you about what is a map. So can you load the slides?
Yes.
So to call something a map, it must have some elements, okay, in it. Without these elements, we can't call anything a map, okay. So let us see what are those elements. So they are title, okay, not title, orientation, date, author, legend, and scale. You can remember this by the acronym TODALS. Title, orientation, date, author, legend, scale. A professional map should have these elements, okay? And in QGIS, we will add this one by one into our map, and then we'll publish this map in a PDF or a JPEG, okay? So are we good? Let's start. Okay, so let's go to the QGIS now. So we have done, I believe you have got some idea about styling, right? Now let's say we have styled and we have prepared our map, made a meaningful one, not like this one, but a meaningful one, where we are now ready to publish it, okay? So in QGIS, the maps are prepared in a special tool which is called as the map composer, okay? And to access that, you go to project, okay? And you go to layout manager, okay? And here a dialog box will open where you can say create, and you can write the name of this print layout. So you can type my first map, if it's your first map, Okay. Or you can type Pune topo sheet. Okay, and click OK. So here you will see a new window. This whole tool is called as a map composer or layout manager. Okay. So first and foremost, whenever you are publishing a map, you will have some inputs. Okay. Whoever your client is or your requirement is, you should know how big will the paper be on which this map is printed, right? Is it going to be A4 size, A0 size, or someone might specify the scale of this map, 1:2000, 1:1000, okay? So you should know at least one of these parameter, okay? So let us say we know the paper size and we'll try to fit the map as best as we can in this paper size, okay? So to set the paper size, you right click here, yeah, and you will see options over here, okay, where you can set the page properties. So you decide A4, okay. Now let me just tell you a bit about the interface. There are some tools on top and menus are there, okay. There are some tools on the left, okay, which allow us to add these elements one by one, okay. Whatever we add over here, whatever elements we add over here, they will appear in the items panel over here, okay. Now we'll see that, and whatever changes we want to make to those specific elements, those changes we can do over here in the item properties. So now I'll demonstrate it to you by actually adding the map. So your map is there in your QGIS, right? So here, if you hover over this icon, it says add map. So you click here, right? Now the tool is enabled. You need to click at the starting point and drag. Click and drag. Okay? So let's not cover the entire space. Let's cover 3/4. Okay? Okay? And you release. So what will happen now? Directly that map will come over here. Okay? So we already knew the paper size we set to A4. If the scale was given, then while the map is selected, you will see the item properties are now reflecting the properties of the map. So we can change the scale over here, right? But then the map might not fit in a paper. Okay? So for now, I'll just keep it as it is. Okay? But I'll just show you, just change the scale to 550,000. Okay, hit enter. So you see so you can change the scale over here. Okay, so bring it back to 30. Okay, you can also click on this and try to place the map wherever you want as well. Okay, yeah, make it little less. So I'm just going to focus on the main things here now, okay? I'm not trying to make a aesthetic or meaningful map right now because I want to demonstrate it to you quickly, okay? So let us focus on the totals, okay? So first T for title. So here we have a tool called text, right? Add label, okay? So click on that. Here how it works is you click on the starting point, drag and release. So drag and release. You have a text box. While this box is selected, the item properties are of this item on the map. Okay? So let's write a title over here. Map of Pune, you write. So I want you to understand this part. When an item is selected, automatically that item's properties are reflected over here. Okay? So now we wrote map of Pune. You see it is very small, right? We can change that by going to the font. Yeah? Make the font size bigger. So this is just like how you would do on your Word and all, right? You select something and then you adjust its properties. Same thing over here. Select something and adjust its properties. Okay? So make it 70. Okay, so students, I'm asked to just end the session quickly because the next program is starting. So I'll quickly demonstrate to you how this works. Okay. So title we have added. Next is orientation. So here you see an north arrow. That is to add the direction. Click. You can follow me if you want. Click and drag. So we have added a north arrow, right? Now the date. So again we are adding text. Okay. So you can click and drag and add date over here. Okay. Okay, so we have added a date. Then we add author. So again a text label. Or we can add to this only. Just click on this. Space, space, enter, and we can add the name. So she'll add her name. Now we'll add the legend. So here you find the legend icon. Okay. Click and drag here. Okay. So now you see these are very weird names, right? You want to change these names. What do you do? Select it and go to the item properties. And here instead of auto update, uncheck that auto update. Okay. When you uncheck the auto update, then double click and edit anything over here. Now let's double click. Instead of putting project map preparation, just keep bus stops. Okay, close. So you see here it has changed, right? Similarly, you can adjust all the text on the legends. Okay, you can even add a title as legend. Can you add a title? Go up. So add a title as legend. Okay, now last and the most important, okay, is the scale. So here you have a scale icon. Click there and put a scale at the bottom here. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you can add the scale and you can define the number of units that you want to have, how many segments you want to have. You can all specify in the item properties. So this is how you can make a professional map. Okay. Now because of time constraint, we have not put much emphasis over here, but to summarize, okay, a map must have some elements: title, orientation, date, author, legend, and scale. Okay. In QGIS, maps are prepared using the print composer or layout manager. So you trigger that. In the layout manager, you can simply enable a tool, add it. To customize the features of that tool, you can go to the item properties. Okay. Everything is click and drag, click and drag. Okay. So once this is done, your map is final. You can simply publish it. So there is an icon on top. If you want to publish it as a JPEG, you click here, export as image. Click, click, and you save it at a location. You can specify the DPI. Okay, 300 works fine for most printing. And you see, click OK. And now the topo sheet is saved and you can double click over here to open it. Right? So there you have your map. Okay? So you can also export in PDF as well. So participants, this is how you can prepare your own map and publish it. And this map you can then share with anybody you want. Okay? So I think with that, we have concluded the objective from our side. I wish I had more time, but that's a lot to ask for in this short time. It takes a lot of hours to practice otherwise. Okay, so we are concluding the session. If any of you want to stay connected with us, Krishna and myself, we are both on LinkedIn. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have come to the end of this session. Okay, now I request our acting principal, Miss Angela Serrao, to give a memento as a token of appreciation to Sir Malcolm Alfonso first.